General Hospital GH. Spoilers suggest that fans can feel as if they are on the cusp of a major secret reveal where Brook Lynn Quartermaine Chase, Amanda Setton, and her teen pregnancy are concerned. For months now, fans have suspected BLQ of being pregnant, and she finally confirmed this last week. While there are still many lingering questions about the entire thing, it's hard not to think that her secret is about to be revealed to Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, in the most innocent of ways. General Hospital spoilers. Could Dr. Navarro mention BLQ's past pregnancy during the results? GA spoilers remind fans that Dr. Navarro, Christina Ferraro, has re-entered the canvas as both Brook Lynn and Chase have turned to her to get tested and see if either of them suffers from infertility issues. After all, the couple started trying to have a baby in August 2024, and they are currently in January 2025 with no baby in sight. During the week of January 13 to 17, when Brook Lynn talked to Dr. Navarro, she was asked if she had been pregnant before, and BLQ told her doctor the truth. Still, there was no mention of keeping the information hidden from Chase, so could Dr. Navarro accidentally spill the beans? GH spoilers. Will Harrison Chase be upset? Navarro mentioned that their test results would be available in the next couple of days, so there's a good chance they'll be ready sometime during the week of January 20 to 24. Could Navarro accidentally mention BLQ's past pregnancy while talking to the couple about the results? Whether there are underlying health issues that are causing Brook Lynn and Chase problems with conceiving or not? How would Chase react when he hears the news? Will he be upset she never told him, or will he understand? Do you think Dr. Navarro will be the one to blow Brook Lynn's teen pregnancy's secret out of the water? Comment below. In the fictional town of Port Charles, secrets had a way of surfacing at the most inconvenient moments, especially when they involved the Quartermaine family. Brook Lynn Quartermaine's life had been a whirlwind of drama, ambition, and carefully guarded truths, but the moment she and Harrison Chase stepped into Dr. Navarro's office, she could feel the walls of her carefully constructed world closing in. It all began 6 months ago when Brook Lynn and Chase decided to expand their family. They'd been in a good place, finally overcoming the rocky start of their relationship. Despite the love they shared, each passing month without a positive pregnancy test added a layer of stress to their otherwise happy union. Brook Lynn, ever the perfectionist, started to wonder if her past choices were coming back to haunt her. Dr. Navarro's office was quiet as the couple sat down to discuss the results of their recent tests. Chase, his hand firmly gripping Brook Lynn's for support, offered her a reassuring smile. "Whatever happens, we'll figure it out together," he said. Dr. Navarro entered the room with a stack of papers and an air of professionalism. "Good afternoon, Brook Lynn Harrison. I have your results here, and we'll go over everything in detail. First, let's talk about Brook Lynn's history." Brook Lynn's heart skipped a beat. She had been transparent about her struggles with Chase, but there was one chapter of her life she had never shared, a secret she'd buried so deeply it had become a distant memory until now. The year was 2010, and a teenage Brook Lynn found herself grappling with a life-altering decision. She was young, impulsive, and swept up in a romance that felt all-consuming. The pregnancy had been a shock, and the decision to give her baby up for adoption had been even harder. With the help of her grandmother Tracy and her parents, the matter had been handled discreetly, never to be spoken of again. Brook Lynn had moved on, throwing herself into her music career and life in Port Charles, but the experience left a scar she never truly healed from. Now, as Dr. Navarro continued speaking, Brook Lynn's stomach churned. "Brook Lynn, your results indicate that there are no major barriers to your fertility, which is great news. However, during our initial consultation, you mentioned a previous pregnancy. I've taken that into account while reviewing your history." Chase's hand slackened in hers. "Previous pregnancy?" he echoed, his voice a mix of confusion and disbelief. Brook Lynn's cheeks flushed as she struggled to find the right words. Chase, I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how. Tell me what? Chase's gaze bore into hers, a mixture of hurt and bewilderment, clouding his usually warm eyes. What is she talking about? Dr. Navarro looked between the two, realizing her misstep. Perhaps I should give you some privacy, she offered, gathering her papers. No, stay, Brook Lynn said, her voice trembling. Chase deserves the truth. Brook Lynn took a deep breath, her hands shaking. When I was 17, I got pregnant. It was a difficult time in my life. I wasn't ready to be a mother, and I made the decision to give the baby up for adoption. Chase's face softened slightly, though the shock was still evident. Why didn't you tell me before? I was scared, she admitted. Scared of how you'd see me, scared of reopening old wounds. It's not something I talk about, not even with my family. Only a handful of people know. Brook Lynn, Chase said, his tone heavy with emotion. You know I love you. This doesn't change that. But it hurts that you felt like you couldn't share this with me. We're supposed to be a team. I know, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I should have told you. I was wrong to keep it from you, and I'm sorry. Chase pulled her into a hug, holding her tightly. We'll get through this, he murmured. But no more secrets, okay? Over the next few days, the revelation weighed heavily on both of them. Brook Lynn wrestled with the fear that her past would drive a wedge between them, but Chase was determined to prove otherwise. They began attending couples counseling to work through their feelings, and slowly, the cracks in their relationship began to heal. Meanwhile, the news of Brook Lynn's past started to spread. In a town like Port Charles, secrets never stayed buried for long. Tracy Quartermain, ever the protective matriarch, confronted her granddaughter. Brook Lynn, how could you let this slip? Tracy demanded, pacing the living room of the Quartermain mansion. You know how this family thrives on scandal. It wasn't intentional, Grandma, Brook Lynn replied, exasperated. And honestly, I'm tired of hiding. Chase deserves to know who I am, all of me. Tracy sighed, her expression softening. Well, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you for facing this head-on. Just be prepared for the fallout. You know how this town loves to gossip. Sure enough, the whispers began. At the Metro Court, Carly Corinthos overheard a snippet of conversation about Brook Lynn's teenage pregnancy. By the next morning, the entire town seemed to know. Brook Lynn braced herself for the judgment, but to her surprise, many offered support instead. One afternoon, Maxie Jones approached her at Kelly's. Hey, Maxie said, sliding into the booth across from Brook Lynn. I heard about what happened. I just wanted to say that you're brave for sharing your story. It's not easy to put yourself out there like that. Brook Lynn smiled weakly. Thanks, Maxie. That means a lot. As the dust began to settle, Brook Lynn found herself reflecting on her journey. She realized that the experience, painful as it was, had shaped her into the person she was today, and for the first time in years, she felt a sense of peace. Chase, she said one evening as they sat on the couch, I want to find my child. Not to disrupt their life, but just to know that they're okay. Chase nodded, his hand covering hers. I'll support you, no matter what. We'll face this together. With Chase by her side, Brook Lynn felt ready to confront her past and embrace her future. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, she felt truly hopeful about what lay ahead in Port Charles.